Hey, what's going on, Colts Nation? So Shane Steichen met with the media today. Wanted to kind of react to what Steichen said. I can imagine the majority of it was Anthony Richardson related, but wanted to kind of react to this with the Anthony Richardson news of he will be the starter. If you haven't already, be sure to check out my reaction on that a couple hours ago. But yeah, just wanted to jump into this, talk about this, watch this video, kind of give my overall reaction. I may pause it a few times, kind of talk about it if there's anything I want to talk about. But without further ado, guys, let's get right into it.
All right, I'll start off. I want to address, Anthony's situation. I've said the process for a long time. And what I mean by that, it's the attention to detail in everything he does, from the classrooms to the walkthroughs to practice to the weight room, all those little things, right? It just got to be at a higher standard. And that's what was talked about. And that's where we went with it. And so that was discussed with him 2 weeks ago. And those are the conversations that took place. And over the last 2 weeks, he's made strides in those areas, big time strides, becoming a pro's pro. And is he a finished product? No, he's not. And it's my job to help him get there along with the rest of the coaching staff. But he's a hell of a talent. Like I said, we've never lost faith or belief in him and his abilities. And he's shown strides. He really has. And with that being said, he will be our starter again. He's going to start this week. He's going to start the rest of the season. All right. And we're going to go from there. And I informed Joe of the decision yesterday. He's the ultimate pro. He respects the decision, understands it. I talked to the team this morning about it as well. I informed them of the decision. And look, everyone has a different journey, right? Everyone has a different way, development and how you go about the process. And everyone wants instant gratification right now. And sometimes it doesn't work like that. And you fight through these times. And I love Anthony. He's a great person. Got great faith in him and his abilities to be our franchise quarterback.
All right, so a couple things here. Shane obviously talking about the attention to detail that he said just, needed improvement. Now, we've heard a little bit of rumblings about, AR maybe not being the first one in the building, maybe not being the last one to leave, some of that kind of stuff. I'm curious if that's a majority of it or if there's just some other things that maybe, when it comes to studying film, when it comes to, doing everything that he can do. I'm not sure exactly what that entails, but I'm curious kind of what that means exactly. I know Shane's not going to go super into it. That's more of an internal thing, but I'm just curious, is there more there? When he talks about attention to detail, what does he mean by that? Does that mean more of, being in the building longer, those sorts of things? I'm guessing from what we've heard, that's kind of part of it. But, is there something else maybe that's not being talked about or, hasn't really been reported out there that Anthony wasn't doing? I'm not entirely sure. It's kind of weird because I feel like this kid, we never had before this kind of questioned his worth ethic, excuse me. So it's kind of weird that like all of a sudden this is kind of coming out. But yeah, it was kind of an interesting thing. And obviously you hear Shane there, clarifying and continuing to affirm that Anthony's going to be the guy moving forward, and the Colts haven't lost faith in him and stuff. So just a lot of interesting stuff there from Shane Steichen. But that's kind of the biggest question mark that I'm asking is just like, okay, what exactly does that look like when it comes to Anthony Richardson and just some of the detail things that they were saying, that he had made. And, I like the fact that he's not worried about Anthony Richardson and he really does feel like he learned a lot. I guess my kind of like, I'm not 100% sure if I buy that, Shane, is the fact that, okay, yes, he could have made some strides, but I don't know, is 2 weeks enough time for Anthony Richardson to truly make the strides that you're deeming necessary to be a franchise guy? And if it is, then was some of that a little bit overblown? I'm not entirely sure, but, is there more beyond just the detail thing? Was this, something outside of Shane's hands a little bit? I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, just kind of an interesting thing there where it's like, you want me to believe that he's got everything figured out in 2 weeks? I don't know. And again, I guess time will tell on that, but yeah, just kind of some interesting comments there by Shane, but let's continue on.
With the attention to detail stuff.
Yeah.
If he was struggling with that, was it something that kept going as he was starting, or why was he starting?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think obviously the offseason was good. I think this is his first time going through a full NFL season. You know what I mean? And it's the daily grind and the daily discipline habits that need to be at a high level all the time. Not a sometime thing. It's got to be an all-time thing. And like I said, everyone has, different ways. of development, and we're developing him in that process.
You took different things into account when you first made the decision, including, your ability to win games going forward. So is this a decision based on Anthony's progress there in the areas?
Yeah, I never thought that he would never. Yeah, I never thought that he would never not play again. You know what I mean? So when I made the decision 2 weeks ago, that was why I made the decision. Hey, Anthony, these are the areas that we need to work on and see growth and improvement. And he's made great strides in those areas.
Yeah, but Shane, at the same time, you were pretty adamant that Joe Flacco was your starter, right? And it just seemed like just some of the comments that were made by Shane Steichen, I'm not sure if I fully buy that, like that was fully their plan. Could be. I could be wrong on that, but it just, I don't know. It's kind of like, okay, now you want us to believe that this was your plan the whole time. I don't know. I don't know if I buy that, to be honest with you.
Right now, Monday, like a couple days ago, it was Joe Stark.
Yeah, no doubt. You evaluate everything. Evaluated over the last 24 hours, had conversations again, and where Anthony has developed over the last 2 weeks and his growth that he's made. And like I said, is it a finished product? No. But we got a lot of faith that he's going to be our franchise quarterback because of abilities and the person that he is.
When you made this move a couple weeks ago, did you view it as a 2-week benching?
I didn't have a timetable on it, but I knew at some point, we weren't giving up on Anthony. Like, hey, here are the things that you need to work on and improve on. And he's been a pro about it.
Go back to this year.
Yeah, at some point, you never know. Yeah.
Is there an example of
was mental versus physical with Anthony? You have to put a percentage on it, but it just feels like it was a little bit of both.
Yeah, I think obviously the mental grind of an NFL season, young players come into this league, like I said, everyone wants the instant gratification. And sometimes it takes time for young players to develop and going through the weekly process of the Monday through Saturday grind. And so like he's learning that. He's learning it. It's a process. Like I said, everyone's got a different journey, a different story, to their development. And hopefully we're going to look back at this moment and say, shoot, remember that second year? Where that went and where he's at now.
This is a little bit refreshing just to hear Shane. It definitely seems like the happiest he's been in a while in the last number of weeks. I guess my kind of biggest beef with this is like, okay, I understand this is your process, Shane. And, if you're saying, hey, I didn't necessarily put a timetable on it, I just kind of wanted to see how he'd respond to this and stuff. I get that. I just guess for me, and I think for a lot of fans, this would have been a lot better if you just would have come out and said this a while ago. I think a lot of fans and stuff would have understood a little bit like, hey, we're not putting a timetable on it, but this is kind of the reasoning a little bit more than maybe I feel like he's explaining it a little bit more than he has. And I kind of wish he would have elaborated a little bit more instead of kind of just giving the general, he gives us the best chance to win. And, he's a pro's pro and all that stuff that he was saying. I guess it would have made things a lot smoother if you just would have been a little bit more forthright in kind of the reasoning behind it. You don't have to go into every single detail. I understand that there's things behind the scenes, but I guess for a lot of fans' sanity, that would have made us understand a little bit more of the process. And I wish Shane Steichen and the Colts would have let us in a little bit more into the process. Again, there's private conversations that can stay private, but I just think there were certain things I'm like, man, just be honest with us. You don't need to keep giving us that answer and making us feel degraded and making us feel like you think we're idiots. I think that was a frustration with a lot of fans is like, you're not giving a real reason and you're kind of making us feel this. And we kind of had to do some digging and figure it out a little bit and kind of read between the tea leaves a little bit. So I just wish they would have been a little bit more forthright with that. And I think that would have made this situation blow up a little bit less than it has. But anyway.
You're guilty of wanting instant gratification. You say everybody's wanting it. We're not the ones that benched him. You are. So,
yeah, no doubt. Like with anything, obviously, I'm just saying people want everything to be perfect all the time, and it's not going to be perfect all the time. And shoot, I'm the head coach. I got to make decisions every day that I think are best for the football team.
I know when your decision was Jim involved. Or
yeah, I talked to Chris. I talked to Jim. I talked to everybody, but ultimately it was my decision.
I know when you went through the draft process,
yeah,
the plan guys had for preparation was kind of your biggest thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is there just I'm assuming Anthony answered all those things right. Is there just a difference between what you think going in as a young player and maybe like the way it works?
Yeah, again, you never know, right? Obviously, you go through that preparation, the draft process, you go through it. He's a great kid, right? I look at character as number one of my pillars, and he has high character, you know what I mean? So you can work with that, and then you continue to develop the preparation and the process as you go through it.
Has this pause with him maybe allowed you guys as a staff to maybe think up new ways to use him, reevaluate just like what this offense should look like with him?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you evaluate everything every week. You know what I mean? You go through that process on how you want to use them, what you want to do with them, and you go from there.
I'll explain the process now. I mean, just be quite frank. You took kind of like a public beating for 2 weeks, and then now you come out and explain everything.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I understand it, James. I think, a lot of things we want to keep in-house. You know what I mean? We want to keep in-house because there's 53 guys in that locker room, right, that we want to keep things in-house.
So, like, I understand that. I understand wanting to keep it in-house, but I think there's a few things that the Colts could have been a little bit more forthright in. Like, I get it. There's things that need to stay in-house, but there's also some things where you just need to come out and be honest with people and not allow the media to do what they've done and really completely twist the narrative in a lot of ways. So that's kind of just my biggest thing with Shane. But I understand the internal process and stuff like that. Like you said, there's 53 guys on this roster. Sometimes things just need to be handled internally. But when you come out and say what you said and your team has looked the way it has on offense, I mean, I think there's rightfully so some criticism that's coming your way, Shane. So, I mean, I understand that, but I also understand, and he needs to understand, and I think he does, that, like, if you're going to do that, then you're going to get some of the lashing out and some of the negative press like the Colts have. So anyway.
You worried at all about the mixed messaging in the locker room?
I don't. We had a great team meeting. Everyone's on the same page, understanding of what's going on, and we'll be ready to roll for the Jets.
You wondered all about, like, is he going to, look over his shoulder just given what's happening?
Nope, made it very clear that he's our quarterback going forward.
How much did Joe's foreplay have to do with it?
It didn't. I'm not going to get into hypotheticals or anything like that. Again, we feel that Anthony's our franchise quarterback, and again, we had to take that time. Hey, this is what's happening. This is what the deal is. We got to develop in these areas. You got to show improvement in these areas, and he's done it with good stride.
Do I believe that 100%? Like, if Joe Flacco would have played great, he still would be the starting quarterback? No, I don't. Come on, Shane. Like, I understand that, but don't lie to us. I don't agree with that, man. Joe was terrible. I mean, just terrible. Like, come on, man. Like, it had to factor in at least 1% into your decision. Like, come on.
So, maybe specifically, like, he proved this, that he's ready for this?
Yeah, I think it's just the little things, the details. When I talk about the details, I mean, it's the constant grind in the meetings with the note taking. It's the walkthrough, laser focus all the time, just being consistent, right? It's consistent in the process to being the best version of yourself.
And there's I assume, a direct carryover between those things and what you do on Sunday in your mind?
100%, because I do believe in the preparation, and the preparation's got to be at a premium, especially at the quarterback position.
I asked you this a couple weeks ago, but I guess it's worth asking again. Was he showing up late? Was he not in the building enough?
No, like I said, it's all the little details about walkthroughs, meetings, all those things need to pick up to another level.
Are those things quarterbacks? I mean, they don't come out of the womb knowing that stuff, right? I mean, are they groomed to know that stuff, or do they have to learn it?
Yeah, I think obviously you hear it from everybody, like, hey, when you get to the NFL, this is what you got to do, but it's another thing about talking about it and doing it, and it's my job as the head coach to get him to that level.
He's gone through this. I mean, with the benching, the tap out, like there's been a lot for him to deal with. You found him tap into something. Do you think this is add motivation to his story?
Absolutely. I think it's going to show the resilience of the person that he is, for sure. Because like I've said this 3 times now, but everyone's got a different story and a different journey, to their careers, right? And people are going to go through some adversity, and it's how you handle that adversity. You got to see the light at the end of the tunnel and keep grinding through it.
Yeah, I really do hope that this is the wake-up call that he needs. I really do hope so. I hope that this is something where, that was kind of the thing when we heard from different people, when the Colts initially did bench him, is like, good luck, rebuilding that trust. So I'm hopeful that trust is not broken. I'm hopeful that this kid's confidence isn't shot. It sounds like he's in good spirits. So I'm just hopeful that this actually turns into a positive thing, which, in a lot of ways, people were saying this could be a very negative thing for Anthony Richardson and his development as a quarterback and kind of the relationship the Colts will have with him. So I'm hopeful that this is a positive thing for AR.
Reaction when you told him he's going to be the starter again?
He was excited, man. I'm excited. I've had great conversations with him the last 2 weeks on the process of all those things we talked about. And he's excited for his opportunity because I know he wants to be out there bad for his teammates.
Have you given any thought, any reflection to how you guys handled this from the beginning? Because you made it very clear when you drafted him, you thought he'd learn through experience. You made him your starter after one preseason game.
Yeah.
Have you rethought that at all? And maybe this might have played out different. I don't know.
Yeah, obviously, when stuff like this happens, you look back and could you have done things differently? You know what I mean? But you got to, it's like one of those things, right? Like no excuses, no explanations. Like you can't have regrets. Everyone's got a different journey and you go through it, the process, and you grind through it and you work through situations that come up.
So to be clear, Joe Flacco's poor play had nothing to do with the change, or?
No.
What changed for you Monday afternoon to Tuesday talking Joe?
Obviously, just evaluating everything. I was looking at our team. I was looking at Anthony. Anthony's a hell of a football player, and we know what he can do on the football field, and he is the future of our organization. So we want to get him out there playing again.
So there was the move to Joe for winning now. Is everyone on board with like a renewed patience that this will take a little time now if you're going back to Anthony?
We're still trying to win every game. I mean, yeah, 100%. We're still trying to win every game. That's our goal.
Do you think that Anthony gives you the best chance to win?
Yeah. I think if whoever's out there gives us the best chance to win. I'm going to give strength to every player on our football team that whoever is out there is going to give us the best chance to win.
Is Joe your backup now, or is it going to be Sam?
Joe will be the backup.
Did you maybe see some of this stuff early in the season and hope that as the season progressed, Anthony would pick up on it without having to bench him? Or
yeah, we go through the process and stuff, and we keep going through it and grinding through it, and so that's where it's at right now. That's where it's at.
Part of what contributed was the efficiency and accuracy. I know you mentioned the mental details, but with him sitting the past 2 weeks, have you seen strides in that area?
100%. 100%. That's what I said. I've seen the strides. If I didn't see the strides of him getting to where he needs to be, is it a finished product? No, but he's made the necessary strides to get back out on the field.
I think your players are conditioned to work with either quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
When you give them this news, I mean, do you sense kind of renewed excitement? Can this be a spark for them at this point?
Absolutely, right? Anything can be a spark. You never know, right? We got to put our head down and go to work and be consistent in our work ethics and our habits every single day so we can get done what we need to get done on Sunday.
He started the season, then got hurt, and was back in the lineup for a couple games. When did you see him slip in the little things?
I don't have a timetable on that, you know what I mean? But it was just the little details. I don't know where it was, to be honest. You know what I mean? I don't have a timetable on it. But again, we had those conversations, made it clear to him. He understands, and we're going from there.
I mean, leadership is obviously a big part of the quarterback's job. I mean, is any of the things you're talking about, those details, is there any relevance to leadership, or has he been good in that regard?
He's been great. Like I said, he's got a high character guy. He's a great person, great human being, and the players respect him, and we're excited for his opportunity.
You've changed, I guess, plans a little bit. How do you ensure that your players just trust whatever plan you're having when it changes like this?
Yeah, I had a team meeting this morning. We went over it. I've talked to the players. They understand what's going on.
You sense that he kept the locker room through all of this? I mean, he was the captain. They saw him as a leader. Do you feel like he kept that?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I think the person he is, for sure.
All right, so that does it for Shane Steichen media availability, talking to the media. I mean, I kind of gave my thoughts already, guys, but, great to see that AR will be the starter moving forward. I guess my question is, how much in 2 weeks did he truly do to make you feel that confident that he's the guy moving forward? And also, if it was just 2 weeks of showing that, how serious was this, and also, is he going to continue to do that? That's kind of my biggest question marks. And obviously, he seems like he's in a good place, but again, we'll have to see moving forward what that looks like. And, how does Anthony Richardson obviously look coming out of this? But yeah, just some interesting comments there by Shane Steichen. But yeah, guys, overall, that's kind of my thoughts. So let me know yours in the comments. That'll do it for this one. Thanks, guys, and go Colts.